Boy, oh boy, we are so back. The NBA is back. I'm back. Definitely going to be posting consistently. Definitely not at my job right now, recording this video, but I just want to talk about how excited I am for the NBA to be back and just how electric these last two nights have really been. I'm probably going to try this format out where see how I like it when I watch it back, where I'm just kind of rambling, where it's a little bit less edited and a little bit more just me talking. But yeah, let's just kick it off right with the Celtics Knicks. Really can't say much about that game besides how great Jason Tatum looked. Glad Jason Tatum is silencing the haters after a summer of weird doubt, which is, I think, the most doubt I've ever seen from a player after winning a championship since I've been a fan of the NBA. It's a really odd thing to see. And also, I forgot to start off by saying that I don't have my mic plugged in. I forgot my adapter, so we are going to have probably a little bit of echo. I'm going to try to fix that in Premiere, but yeah, the Celtics Knicks. Mikal Bridges looked awful in the first half, but he got some buckets in garbage time, which was pretty good. His jumper looked fine. Looked way more wonky whenever you're looking at it from the side and stuff. And then, you also had the Timberwolves and Lakers on opening night. AD looked so dominant, and the Lakers felt really big for once, and that's shocking to say, even with Jared Vanderbilt missing. They do have some bigger guards now that I think about it, but the Lakers looked good. I have a feeling with the Lakers, I think they're going to be a lot better than most people are rating them. And there's a lot of people that bring up the fact that Steve Kerr came in and immediately won a championship, and I think this is going to happen again with JJ Redick. I don't think they're a lock like the Warriors were. Well, the Warriors weren't a lock when Steve Kerr came on. See, this is why I'm testing out this format. I'd probably normally edit this part out, but I'm talking myself into the Lakers being really good this year. I think JJ Redick can bring a fresh new voice. Just simply listening to the sidelines where Darvin Ham was addressing his players, and he said salute or something like that. A crazy thing, man. That guy seemed to not really be too sure of himself, and I think when you have a player as dominant as LeBron James and Anthony Davis, our players I should say, it's noticeable. They can notice that. I feel like they can notice when someone isn't really sure of themselves, and I think Darvin Ham was that. But JJ Redick seems confident in his group and his abilities. I think that's a good recipe for this season for the Lakers. And then last night we had a slew of games. Honestly, last night truly felt like the opening night for the NBA. First off, I want to talk about the games I actually watched. The Pacers versus Pistons was an electric game. It's nice to see Cade Cunningham getting the respect he deserves. He was really good last night. He even had this absolutely insane poster. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. James Wiseman, get better soon. That was awful to see. I was hoping that he would have kind of a little bit of a bounce back here. Tyrese Halliburton hitting that clutch three was amazing. Just a better showing than better showing than last year. This Detroit team seems to be a little bit more hungry and a little bit more organized. But besides the 6 players on the court, that was insane to see on opening night of the NBA. It feels like something that happened later on in the season or in middle school. So then moving on to the Raptors-Cavs game. That game, was a wash as well. I didn't really watch that game. That Evan Mobley, just looking at the box score and stuff, Evan Mobley looked great. Oops, didn't mean to shake my camera. Evan Mobley looked really good. Darius Garland didn't seem too aggressive, but I mean, they won by 30, and it's the first game of the season. The game I did watch, Bucks versus Sixers. What a weird situation is going on in Philly, man. It doesn't seem like Philly fans really like Embiid, and it doesn't seem like Embiid really likes playing basketball. I get it if his knees, if he's really injured and stuff, that's awful, but it's this team just isn't going to win games without either Paul George or Joel Embiid, especially when Maxey was struggling. I don't know what he finished with, but when I was watching, he was really struggling from the field and didn't seem like his touch was really there all the way yet, which is something that will get better later on in the season. I'm going to stop the recording real quick just to hope. All right, we are back. So I said I was going to start with the games I watched. Another game I watched was the Grizzlies and Jazz. Unfortunately, I missed the Rockets Hornets game. I only got to like the very end. The Grizzlies and the Jazz, man. Ja Morant does things that shouldn't be capable. You shouldn't be capable of doing this as a human being. He bleeds the same as us, but he can do these insane things. He is just so gifted athletically. And I mean, watching that dagger he hit, he shouldn't be able to have that soft of a touch after flying to the air like that. That's nuts, man. He was insane. It's good to see that Ja didn't miss a beat. Desmond Bane, I tweeted something to the degree that it looks like it hurts every time he shoots. And this game was no different, but by God, he was making them. It's good to see that he hasn't missed a beat either. Colin Sexton was really good, and so was Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen, just a great scorer off the ball, and he really showed that last night. And showed impressive defense as well. Oh, and how could I forget? The one player I really wanted to shout out was Walker Kessler, man. Walker Kessler was everywhere last night. He was really, really good, and I'm hoping that he has a really great bounce-back year after the year that he had last year, or the disappointing, I guess, improvement. I think a lot of people expect improvement to be really obvious and stuff, and I just don't think that statistically Walker Kessler wowed anybody last season. The difference between his rookie season and his sophomore. So I'm hoping he has a really good season, and if it's anything like last night, man, he was, dominant. He looked like he was controlling everything in the paint, whether it was on offense or defense. So really good showing from him. Watched a little bit of the Warriors and Blazers. It was really a blowout after the Warriors started gaining some momentum, I believe, in the third quarter. Of course, Draymond got a technical. Go figure, man. But I, really think that the Blazers look like they're probably going to be the worst team in the West. Scoot really wasn't wowing me last night, which is really disappointing. I really wanted Scoot to improve and really become that little Russell Westbrook type guard in the modern NBA. But unfortunately, man, some of the attempts he would take were really strange. There was one in particular where it looked like he was going up for a dunk, but then I don't know if he got fouled too hard or something, but he just stopped mid-dunk. And just a really weird showing from him. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about that game. Oh, Kuminga was really good in the paint last night. I was really impressed by him as well. Last game I really want to talk about because, of course, the Clippers would lose in the season opener in their new Intuit Dome. Disappointing, but man, Dome was super impressive. Pause, I think. But it was really impressive. The wall was really, you could actually tell. I think both KD and D-Book both said that the wall really did actually mess them up whenever they were shooting their free throws. And for those that don't know, basically there's a wall behind the basket of Clippers fans, and those Clippers fans are supposed to go bananas behind there to distract the people shooting the free throw, or the players shooting the free throw, I should say. That new Intuit Dome, KD was insane. This was one of the games I actually did get to watch. KD hit an insane shot to tie the game, to make it go into overtime. Again, KD, like Ja, has so many of those moments where it's like, what? That shouldn't be possible. James Harden even came over and tried to smack the ball out, but it's just crazy, man. The shots KD can hit, it's why he's been in the league for so long. Harden had one of the funniest games of all time. I truly believe that James would make a shot, then take a heat check, and then make a shot, and then take a heat check. It seemed like he did that at least 4 times in a row. And then finally he had this one shot that kind of just opened the game up for the Suns, and it felt like the Suns couldn't claw their way back in, which, was kind of whenever Terrence Mann had those comments about this was the best defensive team that he'd ever been on, I was kind of weary, because sometimes I have this theory that sometimes bad teams that are bad offensive teams will be bad in practice, and I think some players might take that as, wow, we're just really good defensively, when in reality I think you guys just might be bad on both ends of the floor and just might be a bad team. I mean, this Clippers team has some pretty good defenders. I mean, of course there's Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn looked incredible out there last night. I'm really glad he got another opportunity. And then there was also, I'm checking the box score, Kai Jones was okay. He looked worse than he did in his preseason minutes, but he was still pretty good. Yeah, Derrick Jones Jr. was the other one I was thinking of. But they do have some good defenders, but sometimes I think bad teams kind of just take that as, oh, we're just good defensively, when in reality, I guess this might be bad on both sides of the floor. Kevin Porter Jr. did awful. Great. But Zuno, I saw a lot of fans calling the duo of James Harden and Zubac. Zuno, great nickname there. He looked great. Or those two together looked great, which go figure, man. James Harden does this. He makes bigs look way better. I'm not saying Zubac's bad, but just he makes bigs just look better. Simple as that. Yeah, I mean, James Harden, he also, not only did he have that shot that let the Suns kind of come back into it, but he also had that turnover at the end, which I don't know if was really his fault or the passer's fault, but that kind of sealed the game, or did seal the game. But yeah, D-Book fouled out on a weird foul, but he looked really good. Only 9 shots. I think he was still in the Olympic mindset there, so hopefully he gets out of that. But, and then Amir Coffey, what? I mean, the shots he was hitting were crazy, man. Some of the shots that, the one from half court, and yeah, dude, excuse me. Good showing from him tonight. Tyus Jones. I talked about this on Twitter as well, but I mean, Tyus, the Suns just looked so much better when Tyus was on the floor. They needed a point guard so bad. As comfortable as Devin Booker probably is with the ball, and as good as his playmaking has been over the last couple of years, he probably gets tired having that ball handle a responsibility and stuff like that. So you could really tell, whenever they would get, the team would get a rebound, even if they would pass it, the rebounder would pass it to someone like KD or Beal or Book, they would immediately try to look for Tyus Jones, and I think that's really telling that those two really want to get to their spots. Come off some screens, or get into a set and have them get an open shot rather than take the ball all the way up the court and get tired from that. And then the final thing I want to say before I get out of here is the Suns need to move on from Nurkic, man. They need to search for somebody else. And certainly it's not Mason Plumlee, but they need to find a good athletic center that can anchor a defense. Nurkic is a great passer, so you're going to be, missing that, because I think the only great passer that is also a freak athlete is Derek Lively, and you're not going to get Derek Lively from the Mavericks off the top of my head. That's the only one I can think of. So yeah, I think just they need to move on from him somehow. Whether that's a trade or finding someone else in free agency. I can't remember if there's any centers out there that kind of fit that mold, obviously to a lesser degree because they're still a free agent. But so I actually forgot to talk about some of the games I did not watch, which I won't have much to talk about since I didn't watch the teams or the games. So the Heat versus the Magic, I thought the score was going to be 28-27. They ended up actually making it to triple digits. Well, one team did. But yeah, the Heat got spanked in this game. Seemed like Jimmy Butler just couldn't find a shot and couldn't get going. But Paulo, he seemed like he really could find his shot and could really get going. He looked really great from what I saw on social media and just from some of the highlights I saw. Expecting a big leap from him, man. I don't know how much better he's going to get, but he's definitely going to get better. I don't like how many people focused on the turnovers that he had in that last playoff series, because his co-stars were awful. There's no excusing turnovers whenever you're a professional, but just to put it bluntly, his teammates sucked. Who else was going to have the ball? I think he's going to be one of those players I root for, just due to the hate that he received over the offseason. I didn't feel like it was deserved even in the slightest, because he made a really good Cavs team work, man. and that's impressive, especially whenever it is like a one-man show like it was with him. Nets, Hawks, Ben Simmons looked really good last night. I watched a little bit actually of this game. You know, Ben Simmons looked as good as he could. You know, the bar's on the floor, man, for him. So, because we haven't seen him play in so long, but am I crazy for thinking he could help some teams? His contract's insane. There's no denying that. But I think whenever he gets off that contract, I don't know how many years is left, he could help some teams, man. He's good. He's a real player in the NBA. It's just, unfortunately, I think in order to make him work, you have to have a certain team. To have that certain team, you can't have his contract on the team. That's the unfortunate part. So, Ben Simmons, we'll see, man. I've definitely been impressed. I can say for sure, he's shocking me. Again, the bar was on the floor, so, you know, we'll see, man. Pelicans, Bulls, Zach LaVine. Good to see him hooping again. But Lonzo Ball, my God, come on, man. How can you not just smile seeing him hoop again? This cat has a new knee. This dude has a new person's knee. A dead, I think it was unalived. Am I even allowed to say dead? Unalived person's knee in his own knee. That's nutty, man. So again, another player that we're rooting for. I think the whole league's rooting for him, so it's really not unique. But man, dude, good to see him hoop again. Rockets, Hornets. Yeah, man. The Rockets got to get rid of Fred VanVleet and figure out what the F to do with Jalen Green. Because while Jalen Green looked pretty good defensively, granted, Mikic, I think is how you pronounce his name. Excuse me. Looked extremely out of shape, but because he could not get it around Jalen Green. It might just be the fact that Jalen Green like is an athletic freak. You know, certain players just have certain weaknesses like that and can go just matchups. I'm just going into matchups. But Lonzo looked pretty good in that game. Alpi, I saw on social media that he looked really good in the first half. In the second half, he kind of struggled a little bit. It sounded like the Hornets kind of started exploiting him defensively, which is something that comes with having a 7-foot big in the game. That defense really isn't his forte. He's more of an offensive hub. So, I mean, that's going to happen, man. But, I mean, you know, he anchored a pretty good defense last season. So, yeah, credit to him. So, yeah, great to see LaMelo, Ron Ball, hooping again, man. I saw a lot of people complaining that his shot selection is crazy. That's kind of what makes LaMelo. That's kind of what makes LaMelo. He is that. He is a bad shot selection. And that's fine, man. If he's hooping like this and he has a bad shot selection, who really cares? But it looks like it was a pretty good game. Like I said, I unfortunately missed it. I think I was doing something else. So, yeah, man. Yeah. Other than that, I'm stoked for the season, man. I am just absolutely, this was like being in my element. I mean, I had 3 games on at a time, just sitting there watching hoops, man. It was incredible. I missed you, NBA. And I hope you guys all had a great opening night and, great slate of games. Or I hope you guys enjoyed the slate of games last night. I'm saying that like I am Adam Silver, but I hope you guys had a great day, great night. I hope you guys have an even better rest of your day. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.